Is it common to be kind of depressed after finishing a series, TV show? In Catcher in the Rye, Holden talks about how you know it was a good book if you wish you could call up the author and keep talking about it. Of course he was nuts. But still, he wasn't wrong. I think if you've connected with the story or the characters in a deep and meaningful way, then, yeah, it's perfectly fine to be saddened by the end of an emotional relationship. But it doesn't really end BC you can read or watch the story again. There's nothing wrong with getting emotionally attached to a story. Most authors and creators would be chuffed to bits to know that someone connected with their work that deeply. I know what you mean. There's a connection that forms when you become invested in a show and its characters. It's similar to a relationship ending. When a show ends poorly, Dexter for example, it's not as bad though and almost a relief. I experience this as well. I think it's closure and realizing that it's ended. It's almost like a death in the family. Not as bad, don't get me wrong. Because of this I almost never finish series that I've already watched once. Friends, The Office, How I Met Your Mother. I'll get to the final season and start watching something else. Sometimes subconsciously. It's funny you mention this. I was just talking to my wife about this not too long ago. Yes, it's normal. Not everyone feels that way. But it's normal. I mean, that's why fan fiction exists. Have you ever tried reading and writing any of that to get your fix? Yes. But depression is a strong word. Missing would be a correct word to describe the feeling. It happens to me too. But only time will cure it. I sometimes get a bit too obsessed. But it'll eventually go away. You're not alone. I love hard sci-fi and I was obsessed with The Expanse. Would just have the show running in the background all the time and listen to all available audiobooks on rotation in the car or on headphones all through COVID. I probably cycled through the audiobook series around 910 times. As others have said, you eventually move on. For me it was probably a mix of combating lockdown isolation and my natural fan enthusiasm. I've done something similar with other series. Getting attached to characters and such. But not with the COVID lockdown level of intensity. Yes. It is basically a variation of the grief process. You have people who you have a pseudo-friend relationship with and they are leaving your life for good. Sad. Not knowing what to do with newfound time. Yes. I actually felt this extra hard with White Collar. Always have this after a good book, pensive face. It has happened to me and my husband many times. He straight up cried when Battlestar Galactica ended. He said, "What am I gonna watch now?" Sad? Sure. Depressed? No. Couldn't care less. Yeah, if you get attached to the characters. TooAfraidToAsk, an Australian series that's so good the public demanded more seasons and they did them. Netflix had them all and just removed them. It's about a quirky obstetrician and her family and coworkers. It's got some really heartbreaking parts because you get attached to the people. That was 7 seasons with a nice ending. Hulu has 5 seasons, which is weird, and it's like watching it on TV. Fade to Black, where commercials would be the saddest things, still happen, but it stops at an odd place. Watch One Piece. It's never ending. Couldn't care less. And that is why I read fanfictions if I get attached to the characters. Our brains don't have the proper mental framework to conceptualize fictional characters. So we perceive them as actual people, with the story being our shared experience. Longer stories give us time to grow emotionally attached to the characters. And characters you like are viewed as friends or acquaintances. When the story ends, your subconscious interprets it similarly to friends moving away. It's called grief, sweetheart. For what was, what is and what could have been. Then we are stuck with what do we do with ourselves now? I'm hearing ya. Used to be normal to me, but today I have a schedule that makes me live immediately and go straight to other platform and never get bored. I felt this way after finish many book series. One in particular was a series of unfortunate events. Because it has 13 books, I think it's pretty normal to feel empty inside. You get so attached and invested in this story, and then once it ends, that's it. There usually no follow-up or anything.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.